Welcome to the podcast that will teach you how to successfully invest in and build steady streams of passive income from the highly lucrative niche of mobile home park investing. Veteran real estate investors Kevin Bupp and Charles Dehart from Mobile Home Park Academy will personally share with you the valuable lessons they've learned along their journey as mobile home park investors, so that you too can learn how to build massive cash flow and huge profits from this extremely lucrative niche. So without further ado, let's welcome your hosts for today's show, Kevin Bupp and Charles Dehart.
Welcome, guys and gals, to the Mobile Home Park Academy's weekly podcast, where we'll provide all the information that you need to know to successfully locate, negotiate, close on, and make huge profits from the lucrative niche of mobile home park investing. I'm your host, Kevin Bupp, and in today's show, we're going to be speaking with repeat offender. I think he's been on the show now, and this will be the third time, so probably more than anyone else that we've had here. So it's Andrew Keel. Andrew is a mobile home park owner. He's also the owner of Keel Team LLC and currently manages 16, at least this was the old number. I should have asked him for the updated number, but 16 plus manufactured housing communities across 6 different states. His expertise is in turning around undermanaged manufactured housing communities by utilizing proven systems to maximize the occupancy while reducing operating costs. One of his other specialties is bringing in homes to fill vacant lots and implementing utility build-back programs and just improving overall management operating efficiencies. In fact, that's going to be one of the things that we really spend a lot of time on today is infilling communities with both new and used homes. It's one of the areas of this business that theoretically is fairly simple and straightforward. However, when putting into practice, it's a little bit more of a challenging endeavor. Lots of logistical challenges involved there with infilling a community with either new or used homes. So we're going to really dissect this part of the business today, and Andrew has done it quite well. He's got many different systems in place, so hopefully we'll be able to better understand his business and maybe take some of those tactics and put it into our own. But before we get on to it, I just have a few quick housekeeping items I want to run through. First and foremost, guys, I want to make an announcement about a new program that we recently launched. It's a partnership program called Bring Kevin a Deal. And this is where I will pay you upwards of $200,000 of a finder's fee for any deal that is referred to me that I end up purchasing. And to learn more about the opportunity of working together and to download my deal acquisition criteria guide, you can go to bringkevinadeal.com. Again, that's bringkevinadeal.com. Moving on here, I want to remind you of the free gift that we offer to each and every listener that takes the time to leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. And we'll give you the exact cold call script that we use in our very own business. I know that Andrew as well does a lot of cold calling, as do other operators that I know. And it's definitely a valid way to uncover off-market opportunities. It's how we've built about half of our mobile home park portfolio today. And so to redeem this free gift, just simply send an email to gift@mobilehomeparkacademy.com and just tell us who you are and what screen name you use to leave that review, and I'll get that free gift sent your way. And lastly, guys, before we get on to it, just want to remind you of the 30-minute phone call that I offer each and every week. I typically open up 3 different 30-minute time slots. I've been doing this now for nearly 6 years. It's been a long time. I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of you over that period of time. And this is where you can jump on the phone with me and just talk about anything and everything related to real estate investing or mobile home park investing, right? Whether you're brand new or an experienced operator, we can get on the phone and hopefully dissect some of your challenges and just me act as a sounding board for you, and talk together and brainstorm. So if you'd like to schedule that call with me, go to kevinbupp.com and just please be sure to put in some details about what you'd like to chat about during our time together. So guys, with that, I'd like to get on to the show with Andrew. So Andrew, welcome to the show, buddy. Welcome back for a third time, man. How you doing?
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be back and add value to the listeners.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you here. I know that we were talking about it before we started recording here. You've been out on the road recently. I know you guys just acquired a new community in Nebraska, so congrats on that one. And so you guys are out pounding the pavement still, even through these weird times that we find ourselves in. So just glad to see that you're still making moves happen and just doing business. So with that, I'm excited to dive into this topic today. This is one that I had hoped that we would be able to cover last time we had you on the show, but we quickly ran out of time. And this is a topic that probably really needed its own dedicated show, and that's what we're going to do today. And that's infilling properties, right? So acquiring a mobile home park. Lots of these parks that we see here today, they have either a few or a lot of empty lots, right? Lots that maybe had a home at one point in time, maybe didn't. Maybe they were just developed lots and they never actually had a home be set on them. And I'm of the mind that, buying a park is fairly straightforward. Not going to say it's easy, but fairly straightforward. Nowadays, getting financing is fairly straightforward. There's lots of lenders out there, raising capital, what have you. We're in a sexy space. 10 years ago wasn't all that sexy, but it's very attractive now. Lots of capital coming this way. But I do think that one of the big challenges in this industry is actually infilling these vacant lots, right? Adding value by infilling and bringing either used or new homes in to occupy these lots, and then either selling them or, doing a rent to own or a regular rental and occupying those to add the revenue to the bottom line. That's one of the more challenging aspects of this business. And so I'm super excited to chat about that with you, because I know that you've kind of taken it to the next level, and I don't want to spoil it right now about, kind of what you built in your business, but I'd like to start from the beginning. And so the first question I'd have for you related to infilling vacant lots would be, when you're actually out there, evaluating a community for purchase, you're underwriting it, you're trying to determine, what's the highest dollar amount you'll pay for that community. How are you guys valuing vacant lots? The lots that already exist, that have the infrastructure there. What type of valuation are you putting on those vacant lots?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, we're going to do our due diligence and inspect those vacant lots and check out the utilities that are at the lot. And then, typically we don't offer very much for those vacant lots. We're more direct with the owners on the properties that we're buying. So we're able to get a little bit better deals on those. But if there is utility infrastructure, there's already a pedestal there, we will give, a couple $1,000, I'd say up to $5,000 for what's already there. But more than likely, we don't like to do that if we can otherwise avoid it.
Yeah. What do you see? So that's direct to owner, and we're kind of the same way. In a perfect world, we don't want to pay for these vacant lots. I mean, there is value to them. It's kind of hard to determine, because that value takes a lot of capital and effort to actually realize. Meaning bringing a home in. And in addition to that, if up until the point you bring a home in, it's actually, I've always viewed those lots as more of a liability, right? Like you're paying additional property taxes. You have to upkeep them, right? You've got to maintain them. You got to mow the grass. You got to keep the weeds trimmed, what have you. And so there's actually more maintenance and operations associated with those vacant lots until you actually get a home on them. And so, what are you seeing? So that's off market. We don't like to pay that much for those vacant lots, but on market, I know that you guys have also bought parks through brokers, and at least I know you underwrite parks through brokers as well. What have you seen? I know there's been a big shift, and I know that now there is value put on those vacant lots, but what's typical when you see a property that comes to market? What type of value are they putting on those vacant pads?
Yeah, and I think, in addition to valuing the vacant pads, there's several different tactics for paying for part of the upside. Mm-hmm. So typically what I've seen other operators do is pay for half of the upside, not give all of it away, but pay for, half of it, pending what your total costs are going to be. So, mm-hmm. If you're going to, end up spending, say, $20,000 to fill a vacant lot with a used home, but lot rents are, $400, $500 a month, pay for half of what that will be once the lot is occupied, is what I've heard. What do you guys do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, very in line with kind of how you do your valuations. I have not gotten comfortable with the idea of actually paying for that upside. And so that probably means that we maybe have missed some opportunities along the way. But typically, I don't like paying much for them, only because I know that it's incredibly expensive and logistically challenging to bring homes in. I mean, there's lots of moving parts there. It's not easy upside. It is the highest hanging fruit that there is, in my opinion, of operating a mobile home park. It is by far the highest hanging fruit when it comes to additional value. And so again, we're not in the camp with a lot of the other buyers that are paying for half that upside, because I know that it's going to be incredibly hard to achieve. Now, there might be some exceptions to that rule, Andrew. I mean, if it's a community if it's a community that happens to be in, right in the heart of a major metro, to where literally, I know if I put an ad up for 10 used homes or new homes, they're going to fly off the shelf. Like there's just a pent up demand of buyers that actually have cash that want to buy a home. And a few examples. I know I've got a friend that owns a park in Austin, Texas, and he literally cannot bring new homes in fast enough to fulfill the demand. In a situation like that, it might be a little easier to justify, and he's getting cash buyers that have literally $30,000-$40,000 that are buying brand new mobile homes. So different situation there.
100%
than what we're typically used to.
and the parks that we're acquiring, we've had a couple parks under contract that were above 100 units, but our sweet spot has been 50 to like 99 lots, because we just haven't been able to compete with some of those large buyers that are paying for half or more of the upside. So
yeah. I know you talked about due diligence on the lots, looking at the infrastructure, what have you. What are some of the other things that you take into consideration during the due diligence process, not on the park itself, but really just on the lot itself? I know that some of the factors include just the size of the lot, like how big of an actual home can you fit on that lot? What are the setbacks and things of that nature? Are there additional items that you guys are looking for that you're trying to uncover during the due diligence?
Yeah, I would think one of the biggest things is the size of the lot. I mean, I killed a deal today because of the size of the homes in the community, and there was 20 vacant lots, and you could only fit a 60-foot long or shorter home in that vacant lot. So that's going to make your infill process twice as hard. Not only are you going to try to fill a vacant lot, but you got to fit one that's 60 foot long or shorter. And if you're trying to fill it with used homes, that's a very tough process to go about. So measuring the lots is something that we do. Checking what utilities are there. I mean, we'll go to a lot of vacant lots, and you can't find where the sewer line is. You can't find where the water line is. You literally have to go out there and start probing to try to find where those utility lines are. So we just have to budget that in there as well. And then also testing the market, to see what type of used inventory we're going to be able to acquire. We just acquired 2 communities in Minnesota, in Crookston, Minnesota, and it was very, very difficult to find, good quality used home inventory up there, because the mobile homes themselves, are selling in the community for $25,000, $35,000, $45,000. So, to hit our budget that we needed, we had to get creative. So that's just some of the things we do beforehand.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What does creative mean? Using that as a case study. What did you guys do, or what steps have you taken to infill those lots? And are you still finding used homes, or did you just decide at that point, hey, if we're spending $30,000, $40,000 on a used home, we might as well bring a new home in for probably right around the same price point?
Yeah, so great question. So we ended up filling 14 homes with used homes, all used. The new homes, there's not particularly a manufacturer very close to that area, so we were going to be paying a lot more than that to bring in new homes. So I got a little list here of things that I can share with the listeners of how we find used homes. Number one, we contact all the dealers in the area, and even like up to 500 miles away, and just tell them, hey, we are looking for used home inventory. Our price range that we're looking for is typically around $8,000 to $12,000. And, if you find anything like that, we're looking to buy a large sum of them. And typically the dealers, they don't spend a lot of time on those lower priced homes because they're selling them for 25, 35, selling them for more than that. But what also happens with some of these dealers is they have upgrade buyers that are coming and have an older home, and they want to upgrade to a newer home. So when something like that happens, we're usually those dealers' first phone call, because they don't want to have to pay for the transport to get the old home out of there. We can come in, cover all of that, and be very quick in doing so. So that's how we've gotten a large group of our homes. I also I'm on a repo list. That's a nationwide repo list. So I get that email of repossessed,
is that Vanderbilt?
Homes.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah, it's the Vanderbilt list. So I get that list. Do you guys use that as well?
Yeah, I very rarely ever find anything on there that's of a reasonable price, and decent quality. Like normally the quality doesn't really tie together with the price that's being asked. But so we have not had success there, but I can't tell you that it's been one of our prime methods of finding homes. But have you had success with that list?
We have in some of our
Okay.
markets. We've had some success with that list.
Just making
Another,
lower offers or what?
yeah, making lower offers
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get inside of the homes beforehand to kind of see exactly what is going to be required on like the rehab side of things. So that's been a help. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the big things that we've done that's really helped us out is we contact all of the transporters and installers in an area and ask them if they have any used homes or know of any used homes that we can come across. And we've gotten, from one transporter, we've gotten like 5 to 10 homes in one of our communities because he comes across different, farmers that have homes on their lots that they just want to get rid of, and other situations like that. So that's been a good way for us to find used homes.
Mm-hmm.
Just this last week, there was a mobile home park that was shut down in Iowa near Des Moines that we came across. And we were able to go knock on every door in the community. And we got 4 used homes out of that community that was being shut down. And the residents literally were going to have to pay the city $3,000 to remove their homes from the community if they didn't get rid of the homes and get them moved out. So we were able to, acquire those homes, all of them, for less than $6,000, and
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was a good deal. And they were nice homes. Some of them were metal on metal, but I think 2 of them were vinyl sided shingle roof homes that were mid 90 manufactured. So that was a good way. And then another good 2 more ways to find used homes. One of them is the other park owners in the area. I just network with all of them. That's on our criteria list. After we take over a new acquisition, we call all the local park owners and just kind of tell them, hey, how do you guys find used homes? Do you have any recommendations? We obviously don't pull homes out of those communities, but we talk to them about, different connections they have, because not every transporter and installer is listed on Google. There's these like pocket guys that do a lot of business up there, and they also happen to have a used home lot, on the side, but it's not on a major highway. It's out in a farm somewhere. You can't really find it. So that's how we've come across, a lot of used homes. And then there's this website, Mobile Home Cash Out. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I have not. No, that's a new one.
There's this guy named Rod, and he's actually based out of Ocala, Florida, but he attends like some conferences and things. And he sourced us over 20 homes out of Tennessee. And he just has connections, and they have a team that like markets to find used home inventory. So I've used them. They just take like, don't quote me on this, it's been a little while since I've spoken with them, but they take like a $500 fee off of every home, and that's all that they take. So they, anything in addition to that, they pass along. So we were able to get some decent homes out of them.
Is that just out of Florida, or do they operate in other states as well?
They operate in other states as well. I think most of their inventory is in Florida, though, because that's where they're based out of. But like I said, he has a network of park owners, and one guy was getting rid of his inventory out of the Nashville area and upgrading to new homes. And we were able to source 20 homes out of that community. So that was
interesting.
A pretty nice deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal. What are your thoughts on that? We actually just bought 5 homes in Topeka, Kansas. We have a park there. There was another park within 10 miles, and had recently traded hands, new ownership, and they're taking out a lot of the older inventory and bringing new homes in different phases. But some of the homes, 3 of the 5 homes that we purchased were vinyl sided homes, early 90 models, but still vinyl sided shingle roof. One was a very nice double wide. I mean, all of them needed different grades of rehab. They weren't, none of them were really move-in condition, but not extensive rehab, right? Just general make ready and cosmetic stuff. But we picked those 5 homes up. I think we're all in. Ended up being right around like $6,500 a piece when you actually averaged it out. Wow. And so it was, and that was actually brought in and set up. not skirting, not decks, but just tied down, set and tied down. So really solid deal. But my mind goes to that community. Their lot rents are right where ours are. Their lot rents are right in like the 375 range. They're getting rid of these homes that are actually of really decent quality. For example, the double wide, we've already got a deposit on it at $29,900 from a cash buyer. We're going to be all into it with rehab and set, skirting and decks. I think we'll be all into it for like $16,000. It's a no-brainer, even if we're into it for $20,000, even if we're into it for $21,000, even when you look at it from a valuation on the lot, from where the cap rate would be at today, just, hypothetically speaking, what the value of that lot is with that home on it, from a capitalized perspective is probably somewhere in like the $35,000 to $37,000 range, give or take, probably 35 is a closer number. I don't know what if we would get a much better quality tenant or buyer with a brand new home that's maybe $20,000 more, $25,000 more. In fact, I think to me that becomes higher risk on our side versus having that nice quality used home in there. So I'd love kind of your thoughts behind that. I haven't been able to get fully on board with new homes but the only time we bring new homes in is when we literally cannot find enough quality inventory, used inventory in a given marketplace. Only then do we actually consider bringing brand new homes in. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's very market specific. Like we reverse engineer and say, hey, what's the value of an occupied lot in this community? And, in a lot of the Midwest communities that we own, that valuation is, like you said, maybe $30,000 or $35,000. So if we can fill a vacant lot for say $15,000 to $20,000, we're adding a good amount of upside there. And with new homes, there is more risk. Yeah, it makes the community look better, but at the same time, the financing available and, from my experience, when a resident gets financing on a brand new mobile home, it's pretty much a hard money loan. You're talking 9% interest, 3 points, and that's the best that they can qualify for, even if they have above a 650 credit score or whatever they're requiring. So we have done the legacy program where we've, us as park owners would buy homes from legacy, and they would offer us 5% down to buy some of the brand new inventory, and that has been good for us. We've been able to just straight rent those units instead of putting them up for sale, and it just gives us more control over the time frame. So we're able to bring a home in, get it set up in about a month or so. I think it's a month from when you order it, and then it takes probably another month or so to get it set up and ready to be occupied. And then I think our monthly mortgage payment on the home is around $400 a month, and we're able to rent those out for around $700 a month in the communities that we've done that in. And the thought process is hey, these are under warranty, and the maintenance is going to be a lot less initially. Yeah. So let's kind of get these in here, and that was a couple of communities that we had to fill quite a few lots. We had to fill like 40 lots. So we decided to split it up and do half used and half new to kind of diversify in there. And that has worked out pretty decently for us.
And are you happy with the quality of those homes? I have not purchased any from Legacy, but I know they're, more builder grade, probably in line with, probably slightly better than like a true home, but probably in line with like a a base model Clayton. But have you been happy overall with the quality?
We have. One of the things that we did is there's a list of improvements that was given to us by someone we met at MHI, actually. And there's a list of things that, based off the standard way the homes come, you want to get the upgraded versions. And like a couple of those things are, there's a better quality tub surround, there's a better quality, flooring. You can get plywood instead of just the OSB. So when we order with those upgrades, we're able to get pretty good quality homes, and we've been happy with them.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. How about, I want to back up a little bit. One of the things that I accidentally skipped over is just, when you are before you're purchasing a part, during your due diligence stage, you're looking at a part that's got vacant lots. You want to ensure that actual market that it's in has the ability to absorb this home inventory that you're considering bringing in. So what are some of the steps you guys take to make a final determination of like, yes, we can fill these 25 vacant lots in X number of months? What are some of those processes you guys go through?
Yeah, so test ads has been the big way we test demand. So we're on Facebook Marketplace, and instead of just kind of counting a lead as someone that reaches out, we actually have like a canned message with a local phone number through call reel that we will send to that person, and then when they call that number, it has a voicemail that says, "Hey, thank you for your interest in this mobile home. Please leave a name and number, and we'll get back to you." So we actually count people that call and leave a voicemail, or people that reach out via Facebook Marketplace with something other than the canned responses of,
Is
is
this
this
available?
available? Yeah, I mean, it's just too easy. So we'll put a list together based off of how many vacancies we need to fill, and typically we want to see 10 people reach out, per one vacant lot to estimate that we could fill that vacant lot. So that's kind of the numbers that we go off.
No, I think I want to make sure that that we give some clarity to the listeners. I mean, that's an important point you made about Facebook Marketplace. And so, guys, Facebook Marketplace is the new Craigslist. I mean, we don't even use Craigslist anymore. Maybe we should, but we haven't had to. We get enough leads for our inventory on Facebook Marketplace. However, there are some canned responses that people, when they go to inquire about a unit, they can just literally hit one button and it sends a response. Is this unit available? What we have found is that a small fraction, you have to respond. You can't count those. You can't count all the "is this available" inquiries as a real live potential lead. You have to send some. We send a canned response back. It's a copy and paste canned response back, and if they actually respond to that, then we actually throw it in the bucket of like, this is legitimate. Like they actually they looked at the photos, they read the ad, because I find that at least 50% of them didn't even read the ad. They didn't even read anything about the ad. They don't know where it's located. They have no idea. They just literally are just inquiring on all the units that are available on the entire Facebook Marketplace page. And so have you guys experienced the same thing?
Oh, same thing. Yeah. You just get a ton of people that reach out, and they're not reading the ad at all, and the phone numbers in the ads. One thing that we do is, instead of just listing the phone number, if the area code's 407, we'll put like the number 4 and then write out 0 with like ZERO7. That way the number actually shows up in the ad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you do that? Yeah, because it will hide it. Facebook will automatically hide it if you put a phone number in there, because they want you to keep the conversation on their platform.
Facebook.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you just spell it out.
Spell out like a couple of the numbers in the ad, and it'll show up.
Ah, okay. Good deal. That's a good trick. I did not know that. That saves a lot of time and energy. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I learned something new today. I like it. How about, so I want to keep moving on here so we don't run out of time. I think we still have some important points to cover here regarding infilling. Let's talk about the funding process, right? And we'll keep it geared towards used homes, because with the new homes, there's programs out there. There's 21st Mortgage, there's Triad, there's the Legacy program. There's probably a handful others or more, right, that I'm not even aware of. But on the used home side, I know that there are some financing options as well. Like you go to your local bank, maybe, that would probably be like banging your head against the wall. 21st, I think they will finance used homes. Again, that's like hard money rates, not the best options as far as the terms and the interest rate. And so what are you guys doing? How are you funding these used home purchases, and not just the purchases, but then you've got the cost of moving and also rehabbing and getting them to turnkey condition?
Yeah, so typically we're raising equity to bring in these homes. With the larger infill projects, we usually budget to bring in 10 to 15 homes per year, and then scale the capital raise where a portion will be raised at closing, and then another portion will come 12 months later, and then the final portion will come year 3. So that's what we've used currently. We do have only one of our parks that has a local bank that has agreed to lend on the individual mobile homes, and they also give us a line of credit to bring in homes to fill in that community. So we haven't had much luck on that side of things in terms of getting a local bank to finance the mobile homes. So we've had to raise money to execute that business plan.
Got it. And then double wides or single wides or all the above? What's the preference?
Yeah, so it's community specific. It'll gauge on what the size of the lots available are. I prefer a nice 3-bedroom single wide personally, just because your transport and installation costs are going to be a lot less.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also another determination there would be, you mentioned the marketplace. What is, you got the higher price point even on a used home. Even once you factor in all the moving costs and the set and the marrying it back together, what have you, you're much more into that home. And what I have found is that a lot of times you're not going to get much more of a premium on the rental side. So if you had a 3-2, 16 by 80 single wide versus I don't know, just pick any size, a 28 by 56, 3-2 double wide, you're probably not going to receive, much more than maybe $100, maybe $150 premium on that double wide versus that single wide as far as a rental. And a lot of times it's hard to even justify the additional costs associated with that double wide just for that, measly $100 or $150 that you might receive on the top side of things. But the only time we'll bring in a double wide is we've got a community up in Maryland right now, really high-end community. Lot rents are in the mid-4s, and it's about half double wide, half single wide. And it's a cash market. We never have an issue getting, number one, we've got a local guy up there that helps us find homes, and we just brought one. We're bringing one in right now. We're all into for like 29. This guy will actually, it's a pretty sweet deal. He locates them. He'll arrange the mover and setter. Make it turnkey with the exception of literally the electrical and the plumbing hookups. Literally, he'll get the condenser hooked back up. He'll put the skirting on after we get the utilities hooked up, build the decks, what have you. It's an all-in price, which is a pretty easy deal for us. But that home all day long, I'll be able to turn around and sell for cash for easy 35. Like that's a fire sale price. So we'll get our money back out of it very quickly. So that's easy to justify the double wide because I don't have to necessarily worry about who's my end market going to be? Am I going to be able to, truly find a buyer for this higher price point, what have you? And I know that in that market, most people, they desire a double wide if given the choice. So, but for the most part, we're single wides as well. Yeah. Last thing I want to cover here before we call it a day. This is the little secret or, the treat that I wanted to share with everyone of how your business is. We've talked about a lot of things, regarding infill. And if you're in this business already, maybe you've owned a few parks, then more than likely you probably have infilled a lot or more, right? I mean, it's part of the business. However, Andrew has taken it to a different level, which is pretty cool. And I want to learn more about that and have him share it with you guys. Not only does he infill properties, but he decided, for reasons we're going to find out, to go out and actually buy his own toter truck. So like the small little tractor trailer type trucks that are designed to literally move or tote mobile homes from one location to another. He went out and basically built his own toter business so that he didn't have to rely on other moving companies to assist him with infilling these communities. So I would love, from your perspective, Andrew, tell us a little bit more about that, kind of the catalyst behind you going out and building that side of your business.
Sure. Yeah. So first off, you guys have experience in this as well. A major pain point for us was, finding good, reliable transporters that ran their business, at a professional level and could keep up with what we were shelling out. Just like a lot of mobile home parks are owned by mom and pops, a lot of mobile home park transporters and installers are mom and pops. And literally there's the pop that has a flip phone that's answering all the calls, for his leads to transport homes. And, he might call you back, he might not. So when we're trying to infill, double-digit number of homes in a community, we just couldn't depend on that third party to be consistent enough to, hit our timelines that we had promised to our investors. So to cure that pain point, we were able to. There was actually a community manager in one of my parks that was a really good manager, and I had built a relationship with her and her husband. And her husband actually transported large pieces of concrete for a large company out of St. Louis. And he literally, he had a CDL and he would transport huge oversized loads all the way across the country, from St. Louis to Virginia. He'd come back and he'd go down to Texas. So we just put the puzzle pieces together. We were able to purchase a toter truck, and I partnered with him in the business, and he now travels around the Midwest and moves into communities that we have infill going on in, and he handles the transport and installation process, and it just streamlines things and gives us timelines that we can depend on. So that's been monumental for our growth.
No, that's awesome. How is the licensing process? I mean, what does that look like? I mean, you guys are in 6 or 7 different states. Do you guys have to be licensed in each one of those individual states in order to move homes?
To move homes, you'll need there's like an IFTA sticker and some other things on the transport freight side of things. And that insurance is completely different than your installation insurance. But from the installation side of things, you have to be licensed with each state. And, just with any other license, there is some reciprocity between certain states as long as you fill out the appropriate paperwork. But the HUD installer license is kind of the top tier license that offers reciprocity across several states.
Good deal. And so you have found success in having that one toter, even though you guys got communities, literally spread amongst many different parts of the country.
Yeah. I wish I had 5 toters, to be honest. I could keep them all busy, and it's just, finding someone that I would feel comfortable with putting them behind the wheel, because it's a huge risk. There's a lot of liability in the business, and, I haven't found that person yet besides, the current person we have in that one toter truck.
So is that individual, is he responsible for finding the additional crew needed to get this home, torn down and actually get it set back up in its new location? He's not doing it solo, I'm assuming.
No, he has some admin support that's based out of the home office to help him get those contractor kind of guys in each location that can help him.
Yep.
But yeah, he basically has a couple guys that'll travel with him out of St. Louis, for certain projects. And, he usually moves into one of the homes in the community and just grinds it out.
Wow, that's amazing. Is he also the one that you rely upon when you find good used home inventory? Like when you need someone to go out and put their eyes on a potential used home that's for sale, is he the one that does that for you in any respective community that he's in?
He will do that, but to be honest, I try to keep him on the high dollar amount projects. I want him installing and transporting, and that's where he's most valuable to us. Mm-hmm. So we usually use like other on-site managers and have them go and take a walkthrough video and kind of FaceTime with us once they're on site at the location. And that person will check under the home if make sure there's a hitch. They'll check and see if there's axles and tires under the home. They'll make sure the frame's not bent or something like that. They'll measure the distance between, they'll measure the width of the frame and things like that while they're on location. So, and they'll look around because, we've purchased homes before, and, it's tough to get them out because they were backed in the wrong way. Like they pulled them all the way in, and now you can't get the toter truck back to the hitch to back them out. So you gotta be careful, and we've definitely made our share of mistakes. Scratch starting this business. It's not easy for sure, and there's definitely a lot of things to learn along the way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love every bit of that. I know there's probably other companies out there that have their own toter service, and I can tell you that it is by far one of the biggest pain points we have of the infill process. Literally, I just had a conversation probably about an hour before we jumped on the phone with our construction supervisor. We've got infill going on in 5 different communities, and out in Oklahoma, man, we've been having one heck of a time finding anyone worth a damn that's literally going to answer their phone and actually come out. We've purchased 4 homes, and between 3 movers that we're supposed to have already moved them, it just hasn't happened yet. And literally they're sitting on the piece of land they're on and need to get off. And it's becoming a stress point because it's very hard to find reliable movers that will do what they say they're going to do. So maybe we'll go down that road at some point in time and just literally forming our own company or partnering in one, because it's finding the homes is challenging enough. And so, but once you find them and get that momentum going, you're making calls to these other moving companies and to dealers, but once those leads start coming in, if you don't act on them, those people aren't going to call you again. If you actually don't execute and do what you say you're going to do, and the only way you can do that is if you can realistically get that home, not just purchased, but moved off their property in a reasonable time frame.
Exactly.
So, well, good deal. Well, Andrew, this has been a lot of fun, buddy. It's always good catching up with you. Is there anything else related to infill that you feel like we might have glossed over or just missed entirely that you think is important for our listeners to know?
Yeah, I would, Facebook Marketplace, if you set up an alert inside of there for like keywords. There's a time up in Minnesota that we were able to get a home for free, and it said in the title, "Home must be moved." It was in a farmer's lot, and he just wanted to get rid of it. So that will happen often as well. And if you're in the right place at the right time, and you can be there to act on those fairly quickly, that's another way you can pick up inventory.
Yeah, good deal. That's great advice. And lastly, here before we say goodbye, any final words of wisdom that you might leave with, just this, knowing that a lot of the listeners here, there's plenty of seasoned folks that listen to the show, but also new or aspiring park investors that are looking to get into the space. But any final words of wisdom that you might be able to leave for them as they progress in their mobile home park investing career?
Yeah, I would say, it's a hustle. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. I've done my fair share of installing actual homes and, filling potholes and, doing whatever it takes to get my hands dirty and understand a certain property. So I would say don't be scared of the value add communities, because that's usually where the most money is to be made.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great point. And I know when I first met you, you actually were moving around to these different communities and actually living in them for a period of time, which is, it's all about the dedication and commitment, and that holds true with any business, whether it's mobile home parks or any other type of business, right? It's normally the concentrated efforts that you put in on the front end, to actually understand the business, all the unique intricacies that exist in it, all the moving parts, and you threw yourself, both feet into it. So, which I admire, man, because I remember about 3 years ago when we first met, you were telling me about kind of the first couple parks you bought, and literally you were moving your family around. I think at that point you had just maybe had, your first child, and you and your wife and your little one were basically not necessarily living a mobile home, but a home in the mobile home park. And I thought that was pretty cool. So my wife would absolutely probably hang me if I suggested that to her. But in any event, no, it's good stuff, buddy. Well, always good catching up with you. I'm going to wrap this up now. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. And hopefully at some point our paths will, physically cross at a, event once they get back to normal and start happening again. So looking forward to staying in touch with you, my friend.
Definitely. You as well, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me.
All righty, guys, thank you so much for tuning in here to today's show. And I want to remind you to be sure to stop by the Mobile Home Park Academy website, and you can download our free ebook that we have there called The 21 Biggest Mistakes Investors Make When Purchasing Their First Mobile Home Park and How to Avoid Them. You can also listen to all of our previous podcast episodes. There's 117, 18 or so out there. So lots of free content. Lots of interviews like this with guests like Andrew that are owners and operators that are in the business, and also lots of very granular information on our business and how we operate our business model here in the MHP space. So again, mobilehomeparkacademy.com. And so that's all we have, guys. So thank you for stopping by and joining us here. And this is your host, Kevin Puck, wishing you huge success. You guys take care.
Congratulations for taking the necessary steps to achieving massive success through the highly lucrative niche of mobile home park investing. Be sure to visit our website, mobilehomeparkacademy.com, to download your free digital ebook version of the 21 biggest mistakes investors make when buying their first mobile home park and how you can avoid them. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to our free monthly mobile home park investing newsletter, which is jammed full of valuable tips, tricks, and strategies to help you accelerate your path to success as a mobile home park investor. More information about this podcast and its hosts can be found by visiting mobilehomeparkacademy.com.